Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, welcome to another episode of the 94 Feet Podcast. This is your boy, Big Zeke. I'm in the building with my brother, Trey.
What's good, everybody?
And Kesey.
What's good people?
There is never a moment when we start this podcast where we not clowning each other. Like, gee, last week I think they was clowning me. And I think this week we was clowning Kesey or somebody. But how y'all doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing real good. It was a good week of NBA basketball. A lot of things went on. Kevin
Durant is back, so I stand corrected.
You do stand corrected. But apparently it was not good enough for one of the games of the week, which is the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Brooklyn Nets.
The who?
Brooklyn Nets.
No, the team before that.
The Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, okay.
Look, man, you don't be checking my grammar every single time I step on this microphone.
We're not going to say Dennis Schroeder's Lakers.
We're not checking.
Well, it ain't LeBron James Lakers no more because he's been on the bench. How about that?
He's not on the bench. He's just out right now. You know what I mean?
We're not checking your grammar. We're just checking how you're saying the word. Grammar, you know, that's punctuation and things.
Thanks, Professor.
You're welcome.
Anyways, despite not having LeBron James due to injury, due to AD with injury, even Kuzma was on the bench with injury, the Lakers still put out a win. And I think that right there is really something telling, especially with the quote that LeBron James put out there, a storm is a-coming. And it kind of makes me think a couple things. Let's get to the game, first of all. Lakers beat the Brooklyn Nets 126-101. Kyrie and Dennis Schroeder got kicked out for the first time in their careers in the third quarter. It probably hurt Brooklyn more than it hurt the Lakers because they were pretty much in control the whole game.
I wouldn't say that because Schroeder has been putting up some pretty good numbers recently.
But I'm saying it hurts Brooklyn more.
He's been the Lakers' horse recently. And with LeBron out, AD out, and Kuz out, who you got left?
No, I agree with you.
So who do you think it hurt more? They still had KD.
No, what I'm saying is Kyrie, though. No. KD was coming off injury.
No, it don't matter. Everybody like that's the same KD. When he just went to the other game, he didn't miss a shot, right?
He coming off the bench.
It don't matter. He came off the bench the first game. Last night, he didn't come off the bench.
Yeah, but come on, man.
No, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you today.
Keep it 100 with what? You want to keep it 100? You want to keep it real 100?
Yeah.
The Lakers got lucky.
I know that's what you was thinking in your head. That's why I wanted to come at you like that.
So here's the question.
Hi, guys. How's everybody doing out there?
Coming in hot. You don't even need to.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I agree with you.
I'm here.
No,
Hi,
I'm
guys.
just saying it hurt Brooklyn more that Kyrie got kicked out the game than it hurt the Lakers. The Lakers were pretty much in control of the whole game.
So this is all I'm going to say, and this will be a quick one for me today. I was right about Andre Drummond, a walking double-double. He's back without a toenail, and he balled out. Okay, let's start there. Secondly, Laker Nation, which I tend to be a part of. I'm a Bucks fan. I'm a LeBron fan. Let's not get too excited because
you're a fan of basketball because you be jumping team to team. I don't want to call you.
I know you didn't call me no bandwagon. I've never been known as a basketball bandwagon.
You see me jumping too.
I've never been known as a basketball bandwagon. I've always been a Milwaukee Bucks fan. I've always been a LeBron James fan and a Steph Curry fan. Have I not? Have I not?
I wouldn't say LeBron, but I know you've been a Steph Curry fan for a long time.
Okay, so here's the bottom line, Laker Nation. Here's the bottom line. Let's not get too excited. Hold up. Let me finish.
Why do you say that?
Let me finish.
I am. I just want to know why you say that.
There's some excitement that can be had because they put up 126 points without their starting point guard, without LeBron, without Kuzma, without AD. So 126 is impressive, but we all know that is not a 126 that will be consistent from the Los Angeles Lakers. Here's why we can't get excited. Because although it's KD, and KD, he didn't have a great game. He had a good game. He had a low number KD game. But the problem is that the Brooklyn Nets did not have James Harden.
Okay.
Kyrie Irving was ejected, and I think KD's points was somewhere around 17 or so.
It was about 20.
It was a little low.
But Irving didn't get ejected to the third quarter.
Irving got ejected in the third quarter, and that leads me to my point. that if the Brooklyn Nets plan to be a serious competitive team, they better have James Harden.
So that goes back to my next. I was about to ask you that. Does Brooklyn need James Harden to win a championship?
100% yes, because we already know KD can't do it by himself. It took
Even
him
though he's
joining.
just come off injury.
It took him joining Steph Curry and Klay Thompson to win both of his
The
titles.
disrespect.
It's true. Where's the lie? Show me the lie.
Hey, I'm not gonna come in your comments. Guess Kevin Durant gonna come at you.
That's cool. We need the follows. Come on in my comments at 94 Feet Podcast. I got plenty for you. And what I'm saying is that Kevin Durant has already showed us that he can't lead a team to a championship.
So what you're saying is what KD did last night is showing us that he's not capable of carrying a team by himself.
He is not. I think we've known that his entire career. That he can't carry a team. He's a leader. Obviously, he can score. He's the most prolific scorer probably in the history of the NBA, with James Harden not too far behind. What I'm saying is KD has joined players like Steph Curry, like Klay Thompson, like Draymond Green, and now he joined Kyrie. He lured in James Harden, and what I'm saying is if you don't have James Harden, the Brooklyn Nets are in a world of trouble, whether KD scores 30 or 40 or not. That's all I'm saying. So because the Lakers, hold up, remember, the Lakers put up 126, granted one game, without LeBron's close to triple-double, without AD's close to double-double.
But see, that's
more pertaining to Brooklyn not holding defense.
But see, that goes.
It doesn't matter.
But look, that goes back to what I've been saying is all LeBron needs is somebody that can hold him over or AD for that 1 or 2 games in a series that they might be struggling. Ain't that how it usually goes? Like, they usually struggle like 1 or 2 games a series.
Yeah, you can say that.
So, looking at that game last night gives the Lakers a lot of positive, good notes to go forward with. You know what I mean?
It does. I think it does. I think LeBron, one of the things like that I do admire about LeBron is he is a student of the game, and then he's always paying attention. I think he's really been watching Andre Drummond and seeing his team jail last night against Brooklyn, one of the top team in the East. It is something to look forward to in the future and stuff like that, because they're going to need those guys to step in. Because when Anthony Davis come back, when LeBron come back, they're not going to drop 30 their first game. I won't put a stamp on that, but they might not drop 30 their first game, so they're going to have to start getting used to playing ball, start used to playing heavy minutes, and so on and so forth. So I mean, I agree with both of y'all. I think that one of the things that was telling to me, even going back to the ejection, and I also agree with y'all that James Harden is very needed to win them a championship. The slander against Kevin Durant that Andre just went on, I don't agree with that, but
I did not slander Kevin Durant. I said Kevin Durant has not proven that he can win a championship without help. Where's the lie?
I mean,
where's the lie?
I mean, if you go there, LeBron can
go where?
I mean, we already know.
Oh, don't you do it.
We already know LeBron's story is already written. Okay, his story is to claim. We already know how people feel about LeBron and his ability to create super teams. In fact, we blame LeBron for the super team era, whether right or wrong. The bottom line is Kevin Durant is coming back from injury. We only know what they're telling us, so we assume he's 100%. We're assuming.
He's like 90.
Okay, let's see this next couple weeks and see if he's rested, or how the NBA likes to rest their stars. So let's see how he reacts.
I'll give you that. And it's just one of them things where it's hard to say that. It's one of those things where with everything we just said, I feel like it's I feel bad for Brooklyn. I feel bad for Brooklyn because they're not at full strength.
Why you
feel?
Hold on.
Let me finish.
Why do you feel bad for them? You shouldn't feel bad for them after what the team they just put together. You telling me you feel bad for them,
bruh?
Can I finish?
You better finish.
Y'all see, I ain't finished yet. I feel bad for Brooklyn because they haven't seen the full Lakers squad yet. Every time they've played the Lakers, it's been AD was hurt. Then the second time they played them, LeBron James is hurt. When LeBron James tweeted out, "There's a storm coming," nobody wants to see the Lakers at full capacity.
Maybe he was talking about the weather.
Nobody wants to see them. Nobody wants to see the Lakers at full capacity.
Nobody.
That's why I feel bad for Brooklyn, because the first game they played, Kyrie was talking crazy. He was feeling himself. He's like, he was talking that crazy stuff about LeBron, so on and so forth. He was feeling himself, and then they got the win, and so on and so forth. They just lost AD. They were supposed to get that win. Then you come back and they without LeBron, and then they got the new addition. They could even handle Andre Drummond. So like I was saying before, that 126 is more towards Brooklyn not holding defense than it is the Lakers being at that better team.
No, but I told y'all, me and my brother right here, not my brother across, but my brother to the right of me. Here? Yeah. Okay, Dre. We told you Drummond was what?
A killer.
He's a walking double-double.
He's a walking double-double. I said, you said, Aldridge this, Aldridge that, Blake this, Blake that.
I'll say this.
Okay, what did Drummond do to Aldridge in that game?
He showed him that he was too little.
Way too little.
Wait. Say it again.
He showed him he was too little.
And he also showed America what?
That he can score 20 points and 11 boards.
That he's a walking double-double who.
Let me tell you something.
No, let me finish before it, because you need to eat your words. Drummond is the final piece, I believe, that will help secure the Lakers championship. Now, before the Lakers signed Drummond, I was all about Brooklyn. I said Brooklyn has this in the bag. But when Drummond gels with Bron and AD, game over.
I'm telling you right now, if those three are on the same accord, it is trouble for Brooklyn.
So, like I said before, I said I feel bad for Brooklyn.
I'm not even
like, what?
I'm not even going to say.
Y'all feel bad for Brooklyn.
You can't feel bad for Brooklyn because they have 3 top 10 players.
They have 2, maybe 3. Don't.
Kyrie's not a top 10 player.
I said 2, maybe 3.
James Harden's not a top 10 player. Okay,
5.
Okay, relax.
Because you were saying more than 3. Like
I said, they have 3 top 10 players, and they have what they think is this bench from God. Okay, let's just start there. The Brooklyn Nets don't deserve our sympathy first and foremost because they have KD and Kevin. They have KD and James Harden, so they don't deserve our sympathy. Second of all, what they showed us last night, even with a Kyrie ejection, I'm just saying, the Lakers had nobody but Andre Drummond last night. Yeah. They had nobody but Drummond.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you at all phases of this. But really quickly, while we talking about Brooklyn Nets and Kevin Durant and Kyrie, Kevin Durant said something that I think is possibly the dumbest comment I've ever heard in basketball history. He said, I want to be a great player, not to be chasing some stuff that humans created in a ring or a gold ball. And this is on Kevin Durant on the topic of what really matters or what matters the most.
Wow.
For a Negro who has won a championship, who has had a ring.
With a super team.
Has an MVP.
With a super team.
He has a finals MVP.
With a super team. Keep going.
You're going to really sit there and say this stuff doesn't matter? See, what I think is going on here is him and his buddy Kyrie, I've really been praying after games, and they've been having deep, dark discussions, and they've been having these enlightened topics and stuff like that. And that's why these idiots are saying the stuff that they saying. Am I wrong here to think that was the dumbest comment in basketball history?
You know what? I think on our episode, was it Legacy or Sensitivity? I don't remember. I think we talked about It was Legacy. I think go back and listen to the Legacy episode where we talked about sensitivity of players. I think that's once again Kevin Durant showing us his side of sensitivity. He knows that in this era of basketball, he is earmarked as the guy who joined super teams. And whether people respect it or not, the bottom line is he has won his championships, and no one can ever take that away from him. No one can ever take it away. And so KD's comments, I believe, are from a standpoint of fear. Number one, this championship might not be in the bag like everybody's claiming that it is. Let's start there, okay? Number two, you're already crucifying every single thing that I'm saying, so let me spin it and say I want to focus on being the best player in the world. Because as people... Hold up, I'm almost done. Because as people are still killing KD for joining a super team, people are still saying what? He's the best scorer ever. He's one of the most prolific game players of this game. And for some reason, people think he's the best player in basketball.
Two of those things can be true. Two things can
Clearly,
be true.
he's not the best player in basketball, and he's been second fiddle to, who, King James.
His entire career. 110%
But
agree.
my biggest thing is, how do you downplay championships and that golden ball that you talking about when you left your team because that's what you wanted?
That's true, too.
How can you downgrade having a championship and having that golden ball to put in your trophy case in your home or whatever? And that's what you left your last team for.
And you
wouldn't have left Golden State if Draymond Green wouldn't have hopped on your ass like he was like white on rice.
You know what? I agree 150% with you. KD is only saying that because he's already won 2 championships.
And exactly.
That's the only reason. Because he's saying that with a super team, after he's won it with a super team, and he's joined another super team. And so I think KD's comments are from a standpoint of arrogance. They're from a standpoint of, you know what? Whatever happens, happen. I'm tired of the press in my face. I'm tired of the media. I'm tired of the comments. So I'm just going to do the very best I can and worry about basically what KD said to me. If I was on KD's team, he basically said, I'm going to be a stat stuffer. The rest of you get it how you can get. That's basically what he said. I'm going to pat my stats and worry about my own credentials.
I'm agreeing.
Versus leading this team.
I'm agreeing with you, and I believe that what's on his mind right now is, like you said earlier, this ain't in the bag like I thought we was going to have it.
I thought it was in the bag.
Because you know what it was? After he saw that all 3 of them were healthy, James Harden was healthy, Kyrie was healthy, and he looking at LeBron and them, they're unhealthy, they're losing games.
A lot of games.
You know what I mean? Giannis and them was losing games at that point.
A lot of games.
These teams are starting now to pull back together. So now he looking like, we got to get out the East first, too. We still got to worry about Embiid over here.
Who's back? Who's balling?
We
just
still,
want to say
we
that.
still got to worry about Giannis.
MVP race is not over. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just got happy.
No, but
it's 3 or 4 teams in the East that he's thinking about now, like, could possibly beat us.
So you saying? So I like what both of y'all said, because I never thought about it from that angle. I just thought it was a dumbass comment. But the fact that y'all think that KD is looking at this like, we might not have this in the bag like we too. Let me just start backtracking these comments, because he didn't go in. I will say this about KD. KD is, even though sensitive, he's a humble guy. So he didn't go into
Who?
Let me hear.
You use what?
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Before he says "hear me out," he used KD and humble in the same sentence.
I didn't even know that went together.
I didn't even know that.
Time out.
They are not even near each other. Go ahead.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
He
we
didn't
apologize.
go into Brooklyn like somebody we all know at this table that said, we're not going to win 1 championship, not 2 championships, not 3 championships, not 4 championships, not 5. He didn't go in like that.
Let it go.
He said,
let it go.
No, hold on, let me finish. Let me finish.
Hold on. No.
Let me finish. He went in this and said, I'm playing with Kyrie. We trying to do something different here, and so on and so forth. He went into that like this. I didn't say KD wasn't sensitive. I said he's sensitive and humbling. 2 things can be true at the same time. So what I'm saying is, for y'all to say that he's looking at this like we don't have this in the bag and he's a little scared is interesting.
Well,
so I'm not saying y'all wrong. I'm just saying it's interesting, a different angle at this.
My thing is, when people bring that up, it gets on my nerves, though. That LeBron,
not
said. 1, not 2.
That's what
he's saying it's a possibility of not 1.
No.
That's what he was. That's what he was referring to.
No.
Everybody know. Come on.
LeBron, everybody championships. You wouldn't be singing this tune.
But listen,
your Miami Heat jersey on. Like, yeah, I told y'all, LeBron's the future.
If he didn't get no championships, okay, then I would say bring that up as much as you want. But he went over there and got a few. It ain't his fault that things in players' careers downgraded faster than what they were expected to. Nobody expected Dwayne Wade's career to downgrade like it did
He was
that
still
fast though. In like 2 years,
was
that
still
Wayne
good.
Wade went from top of the league to in the bottom 50.
No, he was still good. D Wade was still good.
Come on, man.
LeBron
Keep
left.
it.
No.
Come on, man.
Like
Keep it
LeBron
one.
said.
You got to keep it 100. And I'm a real D Wade fan.
Okay, D Wade career did not start going on a downward spiral until
That last championship.
Maybe his last 2 years in Miami. But when they were on that championship run, let's just keep it in 100 this episode. Only reason that team broke up like it did because LeBron thought he was bigger than the organization,
And he was.
and he wasn't.
And he
Never-
was.
What happened to
Listen,
Miami
hold
when
on.
he left?
Listen.
No. What happened to Miami when
They didn't
LeBron
become a
left?
lottery team.
Did they win any championships?
No.
Did they see the finals?
They seen the playoffs.
Did they see the finals?
They seen the playoffs.
Did they see the finals?
No.
As you were. Go ahead.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with they were still a decent team after he left. Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, you
seemed-
But you hear what you just said.
Cavaliers
Did you hear what you just
were
said?
that bad.
They
You
were
hear the
they
hate
were
in his
what?
heart?
a decent team.
They were a decent team. So what does that tell you about Dwayne Wade?
Woo, you got some hate in your heart today.
D Wade has never won a championship by himself. Yes or no?
But before
Has
LeBron,
D Wade won a championship by himself?
I'm going to say no.
Okay,
I'm
then.
going to say no.
So we're not talking about D Wade legacy here. That's another conversation for another day.
technically, he did.
Let
'Cause
it
that
go.
year he had Shaq and them. Shaq and them was on their way out the league.
Stop it. No,
Come
you
on,
don't.
man.
Stop it.
You got to
Come
be
on.
100.
You don't
Look
believe
at that
that.
roster. Go back to that roster, and you tell me one person on that roster that was an all-star.
We getting derailed.
Nope,
Nope.
nope. Because that's a part of the podcast.
We getting derailed.
That's a
Like,
part of the
It's
podcast.
not part of this podcast. We getting derailed. We gonna move on.
I don't think we're getting derailed.
We getting derailed.
We're not
Move
getting
on.
derailed.
But my thing is,
And
go
that's
back to that roster.
That's a terrible word to even use.
Go back to that roster, and you can't even name two players off that roster right now outside of Shaq and Dwayne Wade championship.
Alonzo Mourning,
On the bench.
Gary Payton,
That was good.
Antoine Walker,
Yep.
Jason Williams.
Keep going.
What's my man who still plays for them?
Udonis Haslem.
Udonis Haslam. I mean,
I can name the whole
I
roster.
just
you
named
know?
a bunch. I just named a bunch.
You named a bunch.
So I'm saying,
But okay, Gary Payton
Uh-huh.
on his way out the league.
but he still won.
Washed.
Antoine Walker
He was the man.
on his way out the
He
league.
still shoot threes.
He was still balling.
Jason Williams
He contributed.
on his way out the league.
They contributed.
Shaquille O'Neal on his way out the league.
Did these guys contribute or not?
All of the ones that you said contributed were on their way out the league. Look at that. Look at that final series, and look at the work Dwayne Wade put in for that team. That's what I want you to do.
Okay.
That's what I want you to do.
I'll agree
Go
with
back
you.
and watch that finals
with you.
and look at the work Dwayne Wade put in to get that championship.
I don't even know what you're arguing here, but
He's just trying to prove his point. What I'm saying is this though.
what are you arguing?
My thing is Dwayne Wade dropped from after the LeBron.
After LeBron left, I wouldn't say that he dropped. I would say that the Heat organization knew that without LeBron, they were no longer a championship team.
Because look what he did in Chicago. He went to Chicago, did nothing. Chicago got rid of him. He went to Cleveland, did what?
Well, he was
Nothing.
he was on his way out. He was on his way out when he joined Chicago and Cleveland. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying, though, this was right after LeBron left.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
They
You
were
have
a
to remember.
still decent team. Obviously, they're not going to be as good as they were without LeBron, but they were still a decent team.
So
this isn't Cleveland.
Dwayne Wade had 1 year after LeBron in Miami, right?
Two, maybe two.
One.
Move us on. Let's go, because we're not gonna agree. Let's move on. Y'all are crazy. Listen. Every single time LeBron comes up on this podcast,
It's my fault.
there will
It's my
never
fault.
be
No,
a
it's-
fair
it's-
opportunity
it's
for
never.
anybody else. There will never be. Listen, we're already 20 minutes into the show and we didn't talk about LeBron.
It's my fault. It's my fault. It's
I know.
my
It's
fault.
his fault today
It's my
because I didn't bring it up.
No, it's my fault because you mentioned LeBron James' name, and all of a sudden,
But you started
Kesey
out-
turned into the Incredible Hulk.
Well, talk about in Kesey's defense, bruh. When you hear the tape playback of this, man, your anger came out talking about
because
LeBron.
y'all talking about-
did it
No,
not?
you get this deep like, LeBron, what?
LeBron, he
You
didn't.
don't
He
be
wasn't.
speaking facts.
He wasn't
If you're
abusive
speaking
to you,
facts,
was he?
If you're not speaking
LeBron put his
facts-
hands on you.
If you're not
He-
speaking facts,
LeBron
and you
must
talking
have-
about LeBron James, yeah, you're gonna get this smoke.
LeBron James
But
made you lose some money.
As
huh?
we move forward, another game I wanted to spotlight was Philadelphia 76ers versus the Boston Celtics. This happened earlier this week. Even though that was like the third game, though the second game, Joel Embiid came back. He's really back in MVP form.
Yes, he is.
I think he dropped 40 and like 15. And so
He balled out.
And, we've spoken about the 76ers before. And I think we said like the MVP he should have locked up.
He should have before he got injured.
Before. And even him coming back now, I think he can still walk away with this MVP award. But what I want to ask you guys is the 76ers as a whole, do you think they have what it takes to at least make the NBA Finals?
If they stay healthy, I think it's open. I think the Eastern Conference. Let me not say that. Let me not downplay just how good the Brooklyn Nets really are offensively when they're fully loaded. I don't want to downplay James Harden, KD, and Kyrie's chemistry as probably the highest scoring duo in the NBA when they get back together. But I don't want us to forget that when teams are healthy, they're at 100%, that anybody can get it. Okay, Philly together with good coaching this year, with Joel Embiid's 35 points that he put up and everything else that he's done, as long as he's healthy, Philly has a shot. But here's my concern about Philly. Philly will always get to the dance and not close the deal. Okay, they'll get the woman.
So to answer that question,
they'll get the woman, but they won't make the proposal. Right? They'll get the money.
They'll get the woman. They get the woman.
They won't make the proposal. Think about prom, the dance.
Are they gonna tap that ass?
Philly won't do it.
So I got a feeling.
Philly won't do it.
I got a feeling.
If history shows us anything, Philly chokes in the big games. No matter why. It was Kawhi with his buzzer beater.
Listen, man, that was by the grace of God that they got out of that. That was the grace of God that Kawhi Leonard hit that shot. Because it bounced here, there, over there, back over here.
God tipped that in. God tipped that in. I'm not mad at that. But back to what you were saying, though, Dre, that when you talk about the 76ers, I think this year it's hard to – the difference between these top five teams is by margins. Because when you talk about like even the Brooklyn Nets, they don't have an answer for a big man. And Joel Embiid is going to do some damage there. I don't know what I don't think. I'll have to look back. I really don't do stats here at 94 feet. But I'll have to look back. But I don't think they can get past Brooklyn. When you talk about the Bucks, they don't have anything.
Philly?
Yeah, come on, Philly.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks really don't have anything for Joel Embiid. So when you talk when you go over these top five teams,
but my thing is, the Bucks have a few big bodies that can give him a little bit of a problem.
As much as he went off on Boston, he do the same thing with the Bucks. He do the same thing. Bucks.
What are you smoking? That's your favorite.
But my thing is, the Bucks have some offensively talented big men that's going to make him have to work defensively because you have to put pressure on him to play defense so that his offensive game is brought down a little bit. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's very true. But I'm just saying,
Lopez can shoot the three, Portis can shoot the three, and they both are players that can bang with you down there.
Look this up for me, Dre. Top five teams.
Not to mention,
in the East.
Giannis is a top defensive player. So I mean,
sure.
But
like
I said before, this season, these top five teams haven't been able to do much with a Joel Embiid. And if you're going to get past Philly in a 7-game series, you're going to have to contain him for at least 4 of those games.
See, here's the thing, though. Joel Embiid is also a sensitive and emotional player. All it takes is someone like, because you use KD and humble in the same sentence, in which I think is very, very inaccurate. KD is a talker. And KD gets in people's head. Hold up.
In the game?
Yes.
On the court?
Yes. All it takes is for Kevin Durant to get in Joel Embiid's head. All it takes is someone from the Boston Celtics to get in his head. Okay, the Bucks don't do a whole lot of talking. But all it takes is a player to get in Embiid's head and start talking trash. His game is messed up.
All I know is this.
His game is messed up.
All I know is this. He's averaging 40 against Boston.
Well,
let's start there.
To get
40. He's averaging 40 against Boston.
To get to your question.
But think about hold on.
Top 5 teams real quick without 76ers. Besides 76ers.
Okay, the Sixers are number 1, clearly.
Yeah.
The Nets are number 2. They're really tied for 1 because they're both, as of this podcast, 36 and 17.
Okay, go ahead.
The Bucks are in 3rd. The Hawks are in 4th. And the Hornets are in 5th.
So, with those 5 teams.
The Hornets.
Yeah, no.
Yuck.
We can talk about that another time, another episode. But,
I think we're all stuck.
I haven't looked in about a week because I've been so busy.
Kesey face of disgust when he said no.
Dog, his face of disgust and my saying of disgust. Like I had to double check. Like, am I reading the right thing?
That's when I'm looking like, can he read?
But going back to my point.
I was so thinking like, can he read?
But going back to my point, though. But going back to my point, like none of those teams can really do something with Joel Embiid, and I think when they say, "Hey, this is their time, this is their year," this is one of those times where they might be able to make that move towards the NBA Finals run.
So coaching matters. I will say that,
and not even to mention, we haven't even mentioned Ben Simmons, one of the Defensive Player of the Year candidates.
You know, Ben Simmons, if he wasn't so inconsistent offensively, I would have more confidence in Philly getting things done. But we already know that when Joel Embiid's not on the court, Philly is just another team.
You got Tobias Harris for that? Their record was above 500 when he was injured.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best, but it was above 500.
Listen, Philly is a great team. I'm not saying great. Philly is a good team to be reckoned with. You have to take them serious. Joel Embiid is back. He's playing MVP like again. I don't think he'll win it because he missed too many games. That goes back to our MVP discussion from a couple other episodes. But if matched up, Brooklyn better be careful. Philly can give them a run for their money. Brooklyn better be careful.
That's the one team I see that might beat Brooklyn in the East. Is either Milwaukee or Philly.
You think Milwaukee can beat Brooklyn?
I think Milwaukee can beat Brooklyn.
Ooh, what you think, America? What you think, 94 Feet Nation? Leave it in the
if
comments.
Anybody in the East can beat them, I think it can be Milwaukee.
Ooh.
Man, sit your dumb ass down.
I'm a Milwaukee Bucks fan. And Philadelphia is one of those teams I am scared to see in the NBA playoff. Because
don't make me go there. With
now
you.
You know how I feel. Whenever you got that box,
don't you dare go there with me again.
Look, man, you throw it up there. I'm gonna take it down. You throw it live.
But my thing is, tell me,
why do you feel like that, though? Let me why do you feel like that?
I feel the Bucks are tough. They're not the greatest, but they're tough.
So that toughness is going to last a 7-game series. Is that what you're saying?
It can. If you got the right mentality coming in, I think the Bucks.
If you got the right what?
The right mentality. And what is the right mentality, Keith, for the Milwaukee Bucks?
I'm going to do whatever I got to do to win.
Oh, because it's worked the past 2 years?
But we also coming in with a Drew Holiday this year. That's the difference.
Interesting.
$40 million kid.
That's my point. Like, we have somebody different at that position that's actually good.
He don't play center.
Yeah. He don't have to play center.
So what you're saying is,
I tell you one thing. He is strong enough to make Kyrie have to work for what he gonna get.
In fact, True Holiday is in my opinion one of the most
True Holiday.
True Holiday.
True.
Drew.
You said true.
I said Drew.
You said true.
I said true.
You said true.
Look, just keep
Jay Holiday.
Yeah.
Jay Holiday, not the singer, the basketball player for the Bucks. Jay Holiday is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated point guards in the game.
He is. I believe he is.
And I think part of it, and I've been hard on him as well, part of it is because of his injuries. But he's a lockdown defender.
He plays both sides of the ball.
His ball IQ is ridiculous. And he can score, especially if he catches fire. So I like what you're saying about the Bucks. I just don't know that I believe them to be a team. Hold up. I don't believe them to be a team that can compete with Brooklyn. I also don't believe that they can compete with the 76ers in the 7-game series. I don't.
Listen.
I don't.
I'm looking at it like this. Drew Holiday is tough. And that matchup between him and Kyrie is going to be tough. Chris Middleton.
I want you to focus on
Chris
76
Middleton is
though.
tough defensively.
I want you to
he puts pressure on a lot of the guards that he guards. He's not a weak defender like most of the two guards that normally have to go against James Harden.
Did he say Chris Middleton?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just making sure.
Chris Middleton is a defender.
I didn't say he wasn't. I was just making sure that you were referencing Chris Middleton with all this glory and praise.
But I didn't say he was the best offensively talented.
I didn't say you did.
But I'm just saying.
I was just saying you were giving him a lot of glory.
What one thing that Brooklyn lacks?
He's the second best player in the Bucks.
He's the third best player on the
You didn't even let me finish what I had to say, you filthy animals.
Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Middleton is going to make it tough on Harden. Then you got left with Giannis, and I mean everybody know James gonna get his numbers.
He gonna get his numbers.
He gonna get his numbers.
Okay,
that's everybody know that.
So you just saying he gonna make it hard for him.
He gonna make it tougher on him to get those numbers.
Okay, right.
You are saying some very controversial.
I want to say controversial.
No. Let me
Go ahead.
Let me explain
I can't even
myself.
get everything I got to say out because
let me
these
explain.
two mother suckers over here want to.
You are. Can't even
Go
say
ahead.
it no more.
Go ahead,
Kesey.
No,
I'm going matchup for matchup.
I get what you're saying.
Because I'm saying my point is to get after you get through those three matchups, who has the better team?
Between who?
The Bucks and Brooklyn.
Is that a serious question?
Because you looking at who? Bruce Brown. Who is Bruce Brown? You depending on him in the playoffs? Somebody who never been in the playoffs?
No, we depending on Brook Lopez.
Oh, so you gonna depend on Blake Griffin?
I mean, he's the old Blake.
So you're gonna depend on LaMarcus Aldridge, and you see what just happened to him when he got to get somebody that got physical with him.
LaMarcus Aldridge doesn't hold D. Blake Griffin is old. Not even old. I'll say washed. I'll say washed. And then when you put it like that, Kesey, when you put it like that,
that's what my point is. We know these top three matchups is going to do what they do, regardless of what. Mm-hmm. But what's going to happen after that? And who has a better squad after those top three matchups?
Okay, now you just said all that. Because you just skipped over Philadelphia.
Right. I'm
talking about Philadelphia here.
Philly is probably going to meet them in the finals. One of the two.
Who in the finals?
The Bucks?
No, I'm saying the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You saying that Philadelphia is going to meet the Bucks?
Brooklyn or the Bucks? Because the Bucks is going to be in that bracket where they probably end up having to play Brooklyn first.
If they're a third seed, if that's the only play, that's sometime they're going to meet them is in the Eastern Conference Finals. I get that. So you just did a matchup analysis.
Yeah,
you just did a matchup analysis against the Bucks. Analysis, whatever. So I'm saying do the Bucks and then do the 76ers,
and then that's
because it comes different. It's no different when you talk about 76ers.
Now,
go ahead.
Philly ain't got that third matchup. I don't think
Philly got this. Hold on a second. Let me defend Philly real quick.
Who's going to be that third?
Joel Embiid
doesn't have that third matchup.
Joel Embiid.
I'm sorry, guys.
You caught the shade.
Did you hear him?
I heard him. That's why
Philly doesn't have that third matchup.
So Philadelphia they got Joel Embiid. They got Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and then they have Ben Simmons.
Well, we know KD and Embiid is going to cross each other out because they both going to do their thing.
Okay.
Then you go to James Harden and who?
I'm talking the Bucks.
But you just said Philly.
I said Bucks versus Philly.
So you said
go ahead. No, Bucks versus Philly. Joel Embiid, who gonna hold him?
Sorry, America. I am still a part of the podcast, but this has turned into a one-on-one. So sorry. Go ahead, guys, as you were.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So
yeah, just sit down and be quiet for a minute.
Okay, I'm just gonna relax.
So Joel Embiid, who gonna hold him?
From the Bucks?
From the Bucks.
PJ Tucker? PJ Tucker? No.
That's funny though.
Man,
that was funny, but don't throw too much shade at him.
I'm not throwing shade, but that's the closest we're gonna get.
He's a pretty good defender.
That's the closest we're gonna get. That's the closest we're gonna get, is what I'm saying.
It's gonna be Brook Lopez probably guarding him.
Okay, so they play center.
So it's gonna be Brook Lopez holding him. That's 30. That's 30 already. He's getting 30 off top. So now we got Middleton.
Brook, I believe in you. I believe in you, Slideshow Bob.
So it's either Brook or it either got to be. Porter's got to slow him down.
Okay, so now we got Middleton. We got Middleton and Tobias.
I'm going Middleton.
Really? Over Tobias?
Tobias, yeah.
So let me just bring this back a little bit so America knows that I'm still part of this, okay?
Do I care if you're part of this?
Yeah. On the Philadelphia 76ers bench, you got Steph Curry. Seth Curry, not Steph. Seth Curry. You got Dwight Howard, who again we know he's not the Dwight.
He's the bully.
He's the bully, and he can still get you a low class double too.
10.
Right. You also have Reed, who occasionally can ball out just a little bit. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, to Kesey's point, well, I'll give him a lot of credit for. The Bucks, the Sixers, and the Brooklyn Nets really is going to come down to what their starters can do.
No, it's going to come down to what their backups can do. Because we know all three teams
on three teams are both a little.
They all they benches are suspect.
When you talk about benches, though, Philadelphia has probably the best bench out of the three.
Well, it depends because I think you're forgetting though. Whenever we hear Blake Griffin, whenever we hear LaMarcus Aldridge, we assume that everybody wants the rookie versions of them,
not rookies,
or the superstar,
the fourth, fifth year player.
There's still great bench players that can contribute to those teams. So to me, Brooklyn does have the better bench of the three, not by a lot, but they do.
But that's
defensively.
Well, defensively, it's the Bucks. The Bucks is one of the best teams in the game.
And that's what my point was of what I was saying is that's what these matchups are going to boil down to. What's going to happen outside of those big threes on those teams?
Okay, so going back to the original question, do you think 76ers have what it takes to make it out the East?
No.
It depends on their 3-point shooting. That's what I'm gonna put it on.
Because
if you get the Danny Green that can knock down some big shots,
we even mentioned him, but go ahead.
If you get the Danny Green that's gonna knock down some shots as well as play defense how he play, then I'm looking for Philly to maybe shock the world.
All I know is this about Danny Green: the Lakers let him go for a reason. But continue.
Yeah. All I was gonna say is after just looking at the rosters of the Sixers and the Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets. It's really tit for tat, to be honest with you. And actually, too, the Bucks last Thursday, Giannis didn't play, and the Bucks didn't look terrible.
That's true.
The Bucks didn't look terrible. Their bench stepped up. So I think that what's great about the NBA and podcasting is as the season gets shorter, the games get better because players are starting to figure it out and turn it up because we're going into playoff basketball. The next 20 games or so will tell a very compelling story about the Milwaukee Bucks, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Sixers. Look, we know Brooklyn should have a golden ticket to the finals because they have KD, Kyrie, and Harden. But as we've been watching and as we have learned, that is not the case. So, but I think you both have said some great compelling arguments, but I'm not sold that the Sixers can be a team to trust to get out of the Eastern Conference.
But that's my whole point. I don't think neither one of the teams that we just talked about is a guaranteed out the East. You know what I mean? Nothing is guaranteed out of the East for me right now.
It is
in the same way with the West right now. With the top 5 teams in the West, you don't know who's going to emerge and shock that up.
We know. A storm is coming.
A storm could be coming, but like it's been all year. They've been hurt. It only take one injury, and now you're down one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Then you get another injury. Now you're down 2. Look at him.
You know Anthony Davis, as great as he is, he's fragile.
Yeah.
He's fragile.
But now that we've talked about the top of the list, let's go to the bottom of the list. And one of the teams that's surprising us at the bottom of the list, what surprised me, is the Boston Celtics. One of the things about the Boston Celtics that's really is hurting. No, I ain't say hurting. I'll say surprising. I'll stick with my initial word of surprising. You have two of the best. You have probably two of the best guys under 25, in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and we've been talking. This duo has been talked about for since the beginning of the year. They were talked about last year and probably the year before that, where these guys where you can build a team around these guys. And I think that all this talk and all this hype been about it so far, but when you look at the standings, they're at the bottom. They're at the 8th seed, looking at the 9th seed.
You're talking about Boston?
But Jason Tatum just had 53 which hasn't been done since Larry Bird.
Yeah, Boston.
The other night.
Yeah.
Now, despite it was against the Minnesota Timberwolves, but it's still 53.
But my thing is, the Boston Celtics have been struggling with injuries, and when they're
Yes
big,
and no.
and when they're
the
big,
two main guys have not been injured this year. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
they both have missed games this
They've
year.
missed some
They've missed
games.
games.
I think one of them has missed around 15, and the other one missed around 9.
One was in protocol, COVID protocol.
Yeah, one was in COVID protocol, and the other one was just like it hasn't been anything major though.
I don't know, man.
And I think
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think Boston's biggest problem is Kemba Walker. He has not produced to the level that they expected him to produce at.
That we've seen Boston Celtics point guards produce at a certain level, and he has been. He's supposed to be an upgrade from Kyrie.
Yeah,
I believe so.
he's supposed to be the
upgrade from Kyrie.
I don't know about an upgrade, but he's supposed to be the
The
replacement.
replacement. That's a better way to say it.
Okay.
Because you can't upgrade Kyrie.
That's
not get
tough.
crazy.
You talking some big
When
shoes
he
to
was in
upgrade
Boston,
from.
he was always hurt, so he was like, "You good when you're on the floor, but you're not on the floor that often."
But but like you said, Kimbo has not shown me anything this year to
He
me.
hasn't shown me anything in the last 2 years.
But when he was in Charlotte,
Charlotte, he was the man.
he was a bucket. He was a walking
was
bucket, and
Charlotte.
he would put up buckets in crunch time.
See,
now you look at him and you be like, you picked up him.
I think this is why we have to understand as sports fans and as players, coaching and being a good fit matters. He was the man in Charlotte because he was the only person over there. Boston has a bunch of killers. Okay, it's really Jason Tatum's team. Let's not forget that, right? Jason Tatum is over there balling out, who should have been higher on that top 25 list, but we'll talk about that a little later, I'm sure. Jason Tatum, that's his world. And I think Kemba Walker is just struggling to find his spot in that world.
For the last 2-3 years.
Let's not forget about Jaylen Brown. Let's not forget about, Marcus Smart. It's not his team, but Kemba has gone on to a team that was already established.
See, and I think that's what's Boston's problem. Nobody is the solidified leader.
I think it's Jason Tatum.
That's what you think. But when you look at that team, does it say Jason Tatum is the leader? When you watch them play, do it look like Jason Tatum is their leader?
Absolutely it does.
It looks like
Because some nights it looked like Jason. Some nights it looks like Jalen. Some nights it looks like Marcus Smart.
Here's the thing about both of those guys. I think because they're young, they're not as they don't feel as boisterous as they should be. Because when you like, I see what you're talking about. Because sometimes it's Marcus Smart team, and he is as useful. He's a little bit useful more. I ain't gonna disrespect him. He's more useful than Draymond Green, but he has the biggest mouth.
Yeah,
and so when he's in your face, like he's in the face of Jaylen Brown, he's in the face of Jason Tatum. Like I will say this: these two guys have been quiet guys since their rookie year. And they haven't. You don't see them guys being boisterous. You don't see those guys.
But,
it's more of a give me the ball and watch what I can
but
do
see,
with it.
But see,
if
that's
they don't
what.
add the W's, what's
If
the point?
Boston don't hurry up and figure out who's the big dog over there, they're gonna keep having these problems. Because that big dog is gonna have to be the person that get that ball when it's crunch time. That big dog is gonna have to be that person that get them a bucket to slow down, stop the bleeding when they can't get a bucket. They're gonna have to figure out who is our big dog. That's what the Boston Celtics got to figure out in the next few weeks. Who is our big dog?
Okay, so
and then who is our second big dog?
So it should
and
be.
Then
it should be.
And then after that, who's our third big dog? And then everybody else after that, you're gonna have to just fall in line with these three big dogs.
Dang, you want them to do a lot.
So what you're saying is. They're
gonna have to figure out who their number one, number two, and number three option is.
So what you're saying is these, because they have those options. As a matter of fact, it goes Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker.
But every time you watch them play, does it look like that?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
That's
In
what
fact,
the problem is.
It almost does look like it's Marcus Smart's world. Like you said, it almost does.
Like a lot of games I watched, Marcus Smart looked like he is the big dog of that team.
He's like the floor general, like literally calling the shots, talking the trash.
He fanning Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown off like y'all go to the corners and sit. No. You go to the corner and sit and get Jaylen Brown up here or Jason Tatum up top. You know what I mean?
Listen,
I get what you saying.
Come on now, look, go back and look at some of them games where the game is close at the end. There's no way Marcus Smart should be at the top of the key with the ball, and you got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown sitting in the corners.
So that goes back to the being soft spoken and them not demanding.
It ain't no soft spoken. That's what the organization got to do.
exactly.
The organization got to make that statement.
Jason the Boston Celtics, let's be honest. The reason that they were okay with parting ways from Kyrie Irving was because they had Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is the franchise player. He got the franchise tag. He's going to get a max contract when the time comes. He is the future of that franchise. And until Brad Stevens, who is a good coach, until he realizes that Tatum is the person who I'm not going to say you don't ever put all of your eggs in one basket, but Jason Tatum is the man who should be taking the last shot.
He usually is.
He's the guy that should be running the offense.
Yep.
He doesn't do that.
But he should be.
He should be.
He should be.
Or running through him.
And he's probably, in my opinion, one of the top 3 to 5 players under 25 in the NBA. Jason Tatum, in my opinion, is undervalued by a lot of people. But he's a baller.
But my thing is,
that's who Boston should be centering their offense.
Tatum's problem is he stays in that relaxed mode too long sometimes, instead of bringing out that alpha dog and taking over. You know what I mean?
I don't think he's learned how to create the alpha dog yet.
And I blame that on Kyrie, because when Kyrie was there, he was supposed to bring that out of him.
Kyrie was there to do that.
And he didn't. Kyrie thought that you have to remember, Kyrie got to Boston because he thought he could be LeBron 2.0. I want my own team. These are some young guns. I'm going to go here and lead like LeBron led in Cleveland and Miami.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. It's one of those things where, I think that because everything y'all said is true, especially with Jason Tatum. So my question for y'all is, do you think, because we also talk about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown as probably being one of the best duos in the NBA, do you think this is hype or do you think this is legit?
It's hype because if you're a best duo, you're not number 7, slightly in front of the Knicks. Slightly in front of the Knicks in the playoff. Boston, if let's just talk about it. If Boston lose a couple more games, if they can't pick up their chemistry, Boston might slip out of the standings.
Well,
it can happen.
I mean, right now we got the playoff. We got the play-in playoffs. They got the play-in tournament, the play-in to the playoffs.
But see, that's
so
what
they'll get to that tournament,
and that's what a lot of teams are banking on that now. That play-in tournament now.
Yeah,
and they're not pushing as hard as they really should be to get ranked. And I don't like. That's what I don't like.
I don't like it either.
Because think about this. Boston right now, they're 28 and 26. They're in 7th place. I mean, the bottom half of the East is so far away that Boston should hang on. But if Boston played, the 7 plays the 2. If Boston played Brooklyn, they'll get swept. If Boston fell to number 8 and play Philly, they get swept. Boston don't want to play the Bucks. They wouldn't get swept, but they might lose 4-2. Yeah. So Boston right now needs to figure it out. I think Brad Stevens is on the hot seat.
Do you think they need to shut it down and start all over?
I don't think they need to shut it down and start all over. I think that, unfortunately, the season is not a normal season. I think everyone is struggling from it. But also, let's not act like that the COVID protocols, losing Tatum, losing Brown didn't have an impact on the game. But I think Boston does have to come to the table and say, what did we do wrong? Because Boston just 1 short year ago, even with crazy Kyrie, had a formula for winning.
That's very true.
They had a formula for winning, and the roster's not that
and that's because Kyrie came in like, I'm the big dog.
I'm LeBron.
Yeah.
And when the big dog left, what happened? Nobody else could figure out who was the big dog because he didn't do what he was supposed to do when he got there.
So, going back to the question I asked Dre, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Do you believe in this duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown?
If they can figure out who's going to be 1 and who's going to be 2, who's going to be Batman, who's going to be Robin.
So you think that's the conflict? You think there's privately some discourse between the two?
I think so. On that team, I think the problem is everybody think they the big dog. Even Marcus Smart.
with his 6 points.
And Marcus Smart he has a good basketball IQ, but he's not a big dog.
He's not a big dog.
And nor should he be the I'm sorry, Zeke.
No, you're right.
Nor should he be the go-to guy.
No.
He shouldn't. I mean,
in some situations, okay, but 95% of the time, it should either be Tatum or Jaylen Brown.
a lot of times, I would say this about Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum does tend to take the last shot. I mean, like when they playing the Bucks, he's the one who takes the last shot. Really, it's not a lot you can do with him. He's 6'8", 6'9". He can shoot from anywhere on the court. So it's not a lot you really can do with him. And it's really prevalent against the Milwaukee Bucks. But I just wanted to have that conversation because going into our next topic about the top 25, under 25, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were marked pretty low compared to the other guys. I think Jason Tatum he was
5.
He was 5.
He was 5.
Okay, he was 5, and then Jaylen Brown was number 12. So, but when you look at their record, you can't. I mean, I don't know. Let's just dive into this top 25 under 25. Now, this list that ESPN put out has been very the subject of a lot of controversy, and it's subject of a lot of controversy because people weren't fond of the list. People didn't like the list. I'm just going to go over like the top 10, 15 of the guys.
No, go through the list.
Go through the list?
Go through the list. Go through the list.
Entire list.
Just go through the list. Start at the bottom.
I'm going to start at the bottom, then work my way up.
Yep.
Number 25, Colin Sexton.
Agree. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go agree, disagree.
Next.
Agree.
First of all.
He's in the right spot. Shout out to my man Colin, though. He's a pretty good ball player, too, though.
He's a pretty good ball. He's a dog.
Come on.
24, we got Lonzo Ball.
Disagree.
Disagree?
Well, let's go through the list, because if we do this, we'll have to explain. Go through the list. Go through the list.
So, yeah, let's just go through the list.
Go through the list.
23, we got Jared Allen.
Okay.
22, we got John Collins.
21, we
got Tyrese Halliburton.
Yep. 20.
Milwaukee product.
20, we got DeAndre Ayton.
Yep.
Number 19, we got Anthony Edwards. Number 18, we got
Domantas Sabonis.
There you go.
Indiana. Yep.
17, we got Malik Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
And he just had the dunk of the year, by the way.
Is that Mikal Bridges? Yeah. Go ahead.
Mikal Bridges.
Number 16, Trae Young.
Okay. Too low, but we'll talk about it.
15, Ja Morant.
Too low. Next.
14, Michael Porter Jr.
Too high. Next. Okay.
Let's go through the list. You're going to come in and go through the list, or you going to knock them down?
We were all doing that.
Jamal Murray.
We'll stop.
Jamal Murray at 13.
Okay.
Number 12, Jaylen Brown, like I said before.
Okay.
Number 11, Brandon Ingram.
Okay.
Number 10, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
There you go.
Okay. Number 9, we got Bam Bam. Number 8, we got Devin Booker. Number 7, Ben Simmons. Number 6, De'Aaron Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, Jason Tatum. Mm-hmm. Number 4, Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Mitchell.
LaMelo Ball. Number 2, Zion Williamson. And number 1, Luka.
What a complete joke of a list.
Now
who wrote this list? Who's the editor?
It was from ESPN.
It's from ESPN.
So
a
bunch of writers.
It's a bunch of writers, a bunch of editors. Now, hold on a second. Now, before we dive into the list, this list is supposed to be top 25, under 25. Now, the reason they have this list as it is because these are guys who have potential to be or to lead their team to the promised land.
Where the heck are we starting? Because I'm ready. I'm fired and ready to go.
Let's start with number 1. Let's go. Matter of fact, let's.
No. Let's go for the notable names.
Let's go to your most disappointing on the list.
So,
okay.
Okay. First of all, who in their right mind thought that it was okay to put LaMelo Ball in the top 3? Let alone the top 10.
Totally agree.
LaMelo Ball is having a good rookie season.
Should he be higher than his brother?
He should be higher than his brother, but
No, not at this moment.
I disagree with that, but top 10, you're telling me that LaMelo Ball is better than Donovan Mitchell? I'm going to name every player that should have been above him. Donovan Mitchell should have been above him. Jason Tatum should have been above him. Ben Simmons should have been above him. Devin Booker should have been above him. Brandon Ingram should have been above him. John Morant should have been above him. Trae Young should have been above him. You're telling me that out of all those players, that LaMelo Ball is the third best out of all 25 of these? Stephen A. would say blasphemous, but I'm starting to think he had a little bit to do with this list too.
He didn't have anything to do with this list. He thought this list was full of people and they should be drug tested.
This list is garbage. Listen, all these players are good, but I stopped taking it serious once I saw who number 1 and 3 was. I'm just saying.
Number who?
Once I saw who number 1 and number 3 was, I stopped taking it serious.
Who should be number 1?
Zion should be number 1.
Slap yourself.
I will not
now.
slap myself.
Are
will
you
slap
serious?
you. Zion is the most dominant player on that list. Luka can. He's not.
Who will fight first?
Zion should be. Are you serious right now?
Zion is a killer. Zion has come into the game with a LeBron type of reputation. Zion, I didn't say he was, with a LeBron type of reputation. Bruh, do you see what he can do on the court? Do you see who can hold him? Not many players can hold him. He can put up the buckets. He can crash the boards. Zion is better. We're confused by Luka because he can shoot. Luka can shoot. Yes, we know. Luka's a baller.
I'm going to use a phrase.
Let me finish. Go ahead. Luka could even be number 2. He could be number 2, but he shouldn't be over Zion, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Zion, to me, is the best player under 25 in the NBA. If you're going to put him up that high from this list, you give him number 1. You don't give him number 2. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
Wowzer.
Whatever.
I'm gonna start.
Whatever.
Because I didn't expect you to say that.
Okay.
You don't like Luka. You made that abundantly clear.
I like Luka. I just said he's number 2.
Let me finish. When we talk about MVP, when we talk about Luka, MVP, Luka. The fact that Luka is all around. No, I'm gonna start with a phrase like that you like to use. Where would Dallas be without Luka?
Where would New Orleans be without Zion?
They would be in the exact same spot
They'd be a lot worse.
Because if
No, they would not. No, they would not. They'd be in the exact same spot they are right now.
They in right now. Without Luka, Dallas would be a lottery team.
And where are they now?
They're in the middle.
Where are they now?
Where
are they now?
In the bottom.
They're
In the bottom. They're in
Started
the bottom.
from the bottom, and they're still there.
Okay, so here's my thing.
What they rank about, like 6 or 7 right now?
Dallas, they're 7.
Okay,
And that's a low 7 because Memphis is right on their tail. So is San Antonio and the Warriors.
So
but
what
go
I'm
ahead.
saying is this: Dallas is one of those teams. I will say that at the beginning of the year, Luka, they was talking about Luka MVP just because what he did in the bubble. Where would Dallas be without Luka? They would be a lottery team. Now, are they at the bottom half of this playoff race? Yes, they are. But it's just Luka by himself.
Why does that equate to him being? I didn't even
because
say
you can surround a team around Luka.
You know what this
he shoots. He shoots. He gets rebounds. He does assists.
And you don't
when you talk about the LeBron James comparison, who does those 3 things very well? LeBron James. And that's where all this hype is coming from. That's why he's number 1 on this list.
Listen,
Zion does what he's supposed to do. Get points in the paint. He's jumping out the gym. I agree with that. He's jumping out the gym. He's doing some stuff that athletically a natural NBA, the second NBA player probably couldn't do.
At his size, bro. His size.
He's like 6'5",
this
6'6".
list,
I agree with
this
you.
list looked like it was compelled
It would
off
be the
of
exact same spot they would be without if Zion wasn't there.
I think this would be worse.
This list is compelled off of who is the most exciting to watch to me. That's what it looks like.
Nah, I don't think so.
Luka is the most exciting to watch out of this bunch.
There we go.
That's why he's number 1.
There we go.
Zion Williams, he's the second most exciting to watch on this list. Because if you look at this list, I'll tell you one thing. Devin Booker should have definitely been in the top 5.
Devin Booker should have been in the top 5.
He sure should have.
Jason Tatum should have been in the top 3 for sure.
Sure, he probably should have been number 3.
Top 3 for sure. And then you go to put Brandon Ingram at number 11.
11? You're telling me that Bam Adebayo is better than Brandon Ingram?
I agree with you. I agree.
And then to put the icing on the cake, they put John Morant and Trae Young at 15 and 16.
Yeah.
Trae Young just had like 3 40-point games, didn't he?
Something like that.
So who would be number 1 on your list, Keith?
Number 1 to me, are we looking for most exciting, or are we looking
best?
for
The definition is
potential. We're looking at potential here. So this list is put together for guys who have the best potential.
It says here the best 25 under 25. That's what that
potential.
Says. Who do you rank as number 1, Keith? And then who do you rank as number 1, Zeke? Who should have been number 1? It sounds like you both agree.
I said Luka.
So
I don't have a problem.
So
with
time out. So both of you then are saying here with a straight face that Luka is better than Jason Tatum. Yes or no?
Yeah.
But see, my only thing is it depends on what you're looking for and what teams are looking for. But if you're looking for like as far as the best player, I'm putting Tatum up there.
I agree with you. Tatum should be top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5.
He is top 5.
Is Luka better than Donovan Mitchell?
And that's another thing.
Yeah.
You got Donovan Mitchell at number 4, and you see the way the Jazz are playing. Do you think they playing that way because of Rudy Gobert?
Keith, is Luka better than Donovan Mitchell?
Oh man.
So
I wouldn't say better. Listen.
So 94 feet. What second? So 94 feet. My brothers almost stabbed me out the chair for giving a reason why Zion should have been 1, but neither of them can answer the question. Let me finish. If Luka is better than Tatum or Mitchell,
I said yes. I said yes.
Luka is better than Tatum and Mitchell? No.
And you're crazy.
Yes.
Pass that dope. That's some good dope.
What you want? You got that? I got hard and I got soft. No, what I'm saying is.
Oh man, Lord Jesus, here we go.
Here you had to take
Get out of here.
This is what I'm saying.
Don't do drugs, kids.
This is what I'm saying. Jason Tatum can score. He can score, and he's a very efficient scorer. But what I'm saying is, when you talk about a guy who can do probably the most 3 important stats, when we talk about rebounds, we talk about scoring, rebounds, and assists. It's Luka. He can. The fact that he has Dallas in the position that they're in by himself, because his help is supposed to be Porzingis,
yeah.
and he hasn't played majority of this year.
They just shot him.
For the Dallas to have the position that they're in is something that we should.
Their team
consider.
is not. Their
And
team is not that.
doing the thing that LeBron James.
Their
is
team
so
is not that bad.
highly credited for.
He's just a stashy stuffer. That's it.
Listen,
He's
because they're not winning a lot of games because of it.
But when
LeBron do it, they win games.
Okay, are they in a playoff race?
barely,
But you got to
They're
think
there, though.
Boston is in the same position with Tatum.
bruh.
They're both at like the number 7 seed.
Donovan Mitchell has Utah at number 1. That alone should cause his rating to be much higher.
Utah is not there just based off Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is the best player on that team. But when it comes to Donovan Mitchell or Utah Jazz, we all know they're there for because they play team ball. Their team as a 3-point shooter team is, this team can shoot the ball. They have multiple guys who can shoot the ball. It's just not off Donovan Mitchell. Now, I will say this. He's the leader of that team.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive.
Because I know sometimes you like to go for that 3rd and 4th man. So,
Like Mike Conley in the Utah Jazz.
listen, all I'm saying is if you take Donovan Mitchell away from Utah, no one would be talking about them.
If you take Donovan Mitchell away from Utah, they're middle seed.
Okay.
Middle seed.
So can we do this then, Zeke? Give us who your top 5 would have been from that list.
Top 5 from that list, I'll probably go Luka. Not in no specific order. Probably Luka.
No. That's a cop-out. The whole reason that the list is controversial is because of the way that it's written.
Okay.
If it just said 25 players
so
in
you
no
want me to-
order,
okay,
we wouldn't
fine.
be talking about
Fine,
this.
I'll do it like this then. We can go there. We can do that.
Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Zeke, go. Number 5.
Number 5 is for me. Number 5 for me is Trae Young.
Okay. Number Do you want to just do all 5, or you just want us each to do a 5 and go?
No, do his whole 5.
Go ahead.
Do a whole 5.
Who's your number 4?
My number 5 is Trae Young, like I said before. My number 5 is I'm gonna go Donovan Mitchell.
Wow.
My number 3 is Jason Tatum. My number 2 be Devin Booker,
Wow.
and my number 1 be Luka.
So Zion doesn't even make your top 5.
No,
Woo.
he's right outside top 5. But
Tell me your number 1 again, or are you going to stick with Luke?
I'm thinking with Luka.
Okay. All right. Keith, you want to go, or you want me to go?
Go ahead, man. I'll go last.
Okay. Since we're putting it into a new perspective, I want to preface that my number 1 argument was based on the way the list was written. I had Zion based on the way the list was written. But if I'm picking my top 5, this is how I'm writing this list right now, okay? Number 5 from this list for me would be Trae Young. Number 5 would be Trae Young.
Okay.
Number 4 would probably be Devin Booker. Okay.
Your number what?
Number 4 would probably be Devin Booker.
All right.
Number 3 would probably be, you know what? I'm going to have to take Devin Booker off. I'm going to have to take Booker off. I'm going to have to take him off. Let me start over. I'm sorry. 5 would have to be Trae Young. 4 would have to be Tatum. 3 would have to be Donovan Mitchell. I'm sorry. 3 would have to be Luka. I'm going to give Luka the 3rd spot. The 2nd spot would have to be Donovan Mitchell, and the 1st spot would have to be Zion. The 1st spot would have to be Zion.
Keezy, it's on you.
So with the number 5, I am going to put Luka. Number 4, I am going to go Zion. Number 3, I'm going to go Donovan Mitchell.
Laughing because this nigga looking at me like I'm going Donovan Mitchell.
Like Jeopardy. This is like Game of Thrones. Man.
Number 2, I am going Booker.
Your number 2?
Yep.
Wow.
And number 1, I am going Tatum.
Wow.
Really?
Love
now,
it.
After you just won that, you on the Boston rant.
But remember, people, America, we want you all to understand when we first started this debate, we were arguing based on or debating based on how the list was written, not from our personal opinion. Go ahead.
I mean, that's very true. I think that, when you talk about like top 5 on the even we all just did top 5. And I think that this list is just did what it was supposed to do, is just bring out controversy and us talking mess. I do want to notice that none of us had LaMelo Ball in the top 5. None of us had De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox has been in the league, and he is pretty good.
But
really he hasn't showed me enough to make my top 5. You know what I mean? And is
that because he's in Sacramento? When the last time you seen a Sacramento game? Besides,
I think it's because Buddy Hyde over there outshines him.
You know what? I don't know about that. That's a blanket statement.
Lately, because in his injuries, other guys have been stepping up.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really look at him, but when he's on the floor, dominant guy. Yeah. He can drop you 25 and 12 assists or 10 assists. Kind of like a left-handed John Wall. I do like him.
So basically, are you guys saying that if you are a GM and you started today, the first pick that you're picking out of everybody on this list is Luka?
Yeah.
That
goes back to what I was saying before. Like, this is potential. Like, if you're starting a team, who are you gonna take? Who's your guy? Like, that's your guy.
I'm going with Zion to start.
I'm going with Tatum.
I'm going with Zion,
and I'm going with Luka. And I mean, that's what this list does. It brings out these different lists. You know what I'm saying? People, you go on our Facebook, go on our Instagram, go on our Twitter, and please let us know. You know what I'm saying? Are we full of bull? You know what I'm saying? Do you agree with this?
Because you starting
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was saying, because if you think about it, if you look at Zion's potential to be a great ball player, if you put some great pieces around him, man, the sky's the limit.
Your team going to be exactly where he was at.
He got some pretty good pieces around him.
There's
There's not no scrubs, and they're young with him.
This is not even his team. This is Brandon Ingram's team.
Right, which is why we know that Zion's going to leave New Orleans like LeBron left Cleveland.
He ain't going to.
Okay.
He going to
Okay.
be.
Okay.
Okay, let me ask y'all a question. This is
My
a real- this is a real
biggest
question.
hold on.
Go
My
ahead.
biggest thing is with Zion is his longevity, the way he plays and the way he jumps.
Kind of like Derrick Rose.
He's kind of fallen in that
You see
category
what
like
happened,
Blake Griffin. You know what I mean?
Or Derrick Rose.
That's a really good comparison.
Where their athletic ability really shined in the beginning of their career and made them who they are. But when your career comes down to its prime, and you don't have that,
the
that,
fundamentals.
are you still going to be that player?
Because that's what I'm saying. Like, Dre,
Okay, that's fair.
this is a question for you, really.
What's up, man?
Is he your franchise guy after what Kesey just said?
I mean, he's not. He's the number one in my opinion of those 25, but he's not probably my franchise tag.
That's what you. Okay,
But
Hold up! Listen, we got to remember he just gave an argument in a debate, so now I have to respond. So I picked my list before that argument. Okay, he just.
My argument has made you recant your opinion, huh?
It's not baby recanted. I'm just saying that I'm high on Zion. I think he can be a game changer with the right system. I still don't think New Orleans is the right system or coaching for him, but I'm a big Donovan Mitchell fan. So to me, an argument could be made that Donovan should have been number 1 or 2 on this list, and I'm going to just leave it at that.
Donovan Mitchell, it has a lot of upside because last year in the bubble, he was the catalyst for the Utah Jazz and his first they got. But unfortunately, he couldn't, like Andre would say, put a ring on it. And that was just to get past the Nuggets. Like, I don't think anybody expected him to win a championship in Utah, but just him getting past the Nuggets and the fact that they had that series in a wrap and he couldn't get it done.
Yeah, but the Nuggets had a great bubble season, bro. The Nuggets came with it.
They were down 4-1. You should have won that game.
You should have, but
Won
the
that
Nuggets
series.
came back and did what the Nuggets do.
But we could go on and on and on, but we're not. We've been here for quite a while. So
One more question before we go, though. Is there someone on that list that you think shouldn't have made that list?
Hold on, guys.
what do you mean?
Is there a player on that list? Go ahead.
I didn't even look, and I didn't even realize it was one player that we didn't even talk about on this list that should have been up there, at least in the top 5, probably. Conversation.
Who's that?
Jamal Murray.
I mean, we only did 5. He
I
could
know,
be 6.
but my thing is, like, we didn't even put him in the top 10. We didn't even discuss him.
Jamal Murray is one of those guys who is a great piece, but he can't be the center focal of a team.
So you telling me the show he put on against the Clippers don't make him a...
It makes him
Go ahead.
It put the NBA on notice.
Yeah.
But have you noticed him this year?
One good episode of a season doesn't mean you have a great show.
Well, then that's the same thing to say about Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson.
One good episode during the season doesn't mean you have a great show.
He actually put on a good show the whole bubble playoffs.
But
The bubble.
when
he
you
put on a good performance in the bubble too. You see where they at?
when you compare, I mean, the thing about it is when you compare Jamal Murray to some of the names we mentioned, Luka, Zion, Trey, Donovan, Jason, the top 5 is crowded for a reason. It's crowded for a reason.
But I just want to bring him up because I like Jamal Murray.
I mean,
and I felt bad that we didn't even bring him up into the discussion at all.
I like him too. I like his energy, and he's a great shooter again. But it's one of those things, like you said before. He's just one of those guys who haven't been. He doesn't put fear in the defense, and he doesn't. Yeah, I said it. He doesn't put fear in the defense. He's not a center focal of a team.
Hit that button for me.
which one you want? The sit your. Okay, go ahead. You got to do it.
He's not a center focal of a team.
No. Say what you
Man,
just said.
sit your dumb ass down and
Still don't change the fact.
I still can't believe you just said that.
So
I said it too with a smile on my face because it don't change the fact.
Take us out, brother. That's all good.
Anyways, it's been another episode of 94 Feet Podcast. I barely want to thank these Negroes. I like to thank Kesey.
Why are you so disrespectful?
And Dre.
Why are you so disrespectful?
I'm not disrespectful, man. I just said I barely want to do it, but I did it. Okay?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be waiting for him in the parking lot. As you can see, this is where this is headed. My good
God.
people, thank you for listening to the 94 Feet, y'all.
Check us out on Spreakers, Apple, Spotify, Google, your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at 94FT Podcast. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Agree with us? We doubt it. 94 Feet.
94 Feet,
Peace.
people.